Hey dear programmers, one of the common doubt every beginning programmer have is the difference between error, exception and a bug. Let me explain this concept in a very simple manner. An error is a mistake in your program which does not allow you to execute your program. It doesn't allow you to compile and execute your program. And an exception is it will allow you to compile your program and execute your program, but it doesn't show you output. It allows you to compile and execute but doesn't show the output, right? And a bug is it will allow you to compile, execute and show the output but an incorrect output. It allows you to compile, execute and get the output but wrong output, right? Let me show you through simple programming example. Let me say I have two integer variables, number 1 and number 2. Now I want to compute sum of these two numbers by using integer sum is equal to number 1 plus number 2. At this moment you can observe that both number 1 and 2 are getting errors because we haven't initialized value for both the variables, but we are trying to add those two numbers without initializing any value. That's when you get the compile error. If I try to execute this program by using Ctrl plus F5 button, now you can observe I got an error because I haven't initialized those two values, but I'm trying to execute the program. If I click on no button, you will see an error saying use of unassigned local variable number 1 and number 2, right? So this is what we call as error. It will not allow you to compile and execute your program. If I initialize the value is equal to 10 and equal to 20, now you can observe the error has been resolved, right? And if I go for printing the value of sum, let me go for execution by pressing Ctrl plus F5 button. You will see the output of those variables. So this is what we call as error, and to resolve those errors you have to do it before compilation of your program. Now let me explain the second concept, exception. Let me show it with a simple example. Let us say I want to print an output and I want to divide number 100 by 0, right? So whenever I try to divide any number by 0, it always shows the error because if you observe here, division by constant 0. So we cannot divide any number by 0. So same thing what I do is by using integer number is equal to 100. Okay, so now I take other number, integer other number is equal to 0, right? I'll do number divided by other number. If I'm trying to divide any number by other number, now we are not seeing the error because in this place we are not using real values. Instead of using real values, we are using variables. So these variable values can be changed at any time. So now if you observe this program, we don't have any kind of errors, right? But if I go for the execution, you know that it will give the error because 100 cannot be divided by 0. Let me go for execution by pressing Ctrl and F5 button. Now you can observe I did not receive any output. Instead, I received an unhandled divide by 0 exception, right? So these kind of errors we call as exception. Exceptions allow you to compile and execute your program, but it does not show you output. If you want to resolve these kind of problems, we have to make use of exception handling by using try and catch. And I'll write this statement whichever throws the exception inside the try block, and whatever the exception I'll get, I want to handle it by using exception e variable. Let me say e dot message, right? So let me add namespace for this, right? So now what I'm doing, e dot message, right? Now if I go for execution of this program by using Ctrl plus F5, you will see attempted to divide by 0 message, right? So what it did, it tried to divide the number 100 by 0. It could not handle it. It was throwing the exception. So it went to the catch block, and in the catch block we are displaying a message. What message we are displaying? We are dividing a number by 0 message, right? So this is how we can handle the exception. Understood? So this is what we call as exception. These exceptions will allow you to compile and execute program, but it will not show the output. If you want to get the output, you have to handle the exception by using try and catch block. Let me explain the third example, a bug. To explain third example, let me remove these statements, right? In order to explain the bug, let me say I have two numbers, num1 equal to 10 and num2 equal to 20. Let me say I have another integer variable sum which is initialized to 0. Now I want to get the output of sum by using these two numbers. So what I'll do is sum is equal to num1 plus num2. So which will give the sum of these two numbers, and I'll be printing some variable by using console.writeLine. Now let us consider, while writing this program, we know that addition of two numbers is nothing but sum, which we are storing in the sum variable and we are printing. Now by mistake, while writing the program, instead of writing num1 plus num2, I write it as num1 minus num2, and I'm expecting the addition of these two numbers. So when I go for the execution of this program by using Control and F5 button, you can observe I'm getting the result as minus 10, where I was expecting 30 as the output. So this is what we call as bug. A bug is nothing but unexpected result. Even though your program is compiling, it is executing, it is not showing any kind of exceptions, and it is showing the output, but your output is not correct. So this is what we call as a bug. So if you want to correct this program, I have to come back to my program, and I have written a minus operator in place of plus operator, and I corrected my program. Now if I go for the execution of this program by using Control plus F5 button, I'll see the expected output as 30. To conclude this, let me explain it once again. An error is nothing but it does not allow you to compile and execute your program. Exception will allow you to compile and execute your program but does not show you the output. Whereas bug allow you to compile, execute and get the output of the program, but it will show the wrong output. It has been explained in a very simple terms. If you have any other confusion, let me know in the comment section. To know more about programming, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.